Hello everyone, welcome to this lecture on electromagnetic induction. In this particular lecture, we will learn to derive the energy stored in a system due to mutual induction. We already know what is the energy stored in a system due to self-inductance, that is given by half of Li square. But we, as I already told in one of the derivation, that I will let you derive, or I'll make a separate video to how to derive this particular relation regarding mutual induction. So that is the reason why I have made this video. So in order to do this calculation, let's just consider two different circuits as we already considered. Um let's consider this is one circuit and this is another circuit. Basically, circuit in the sense I am considering two coils. So let's consider this is coil C1 and this is coil C2. Let's consider that there is a current I1 flowing in this particular direction, and there is one more current, that is I2, which is flowing in this direction. So I1 and I2 are the currents flowing through the coils C1 and C2 respectively, and it is so that it is such that the both the currents basically are moving in the same direction, that means clockwise. Now, what is the fundamental thing that we have to notice in this case? Fundamental thing is that whenever the current in circuit C1 changes with time, then the magnetic flux linked with this coil will also change. Now, since both these circuits or both these coils are very nearby, so that amount of change in magnetic flux will also be linked with the coil C2. That means the current I1, if it changes with time, then the magnetic flux that will be linked because of this change, or that will be generated because of this change in current, will also affect the coil C2. Quite similar to that, whenever the current I2 changes with time, the magnetic flux linked with the coil will change in C1 also. So, considering this particular fact, let us first consider the EMF induced in the coil C2 due to the current I1. That means whenever the current I1 changes, the magnetic flux linked with the coil C2 changes, and because of that, by Faraday's law, there will be an induced EMF. And we all know that induced EMF will be such that to oppose the change in the magnetic flux. But in this case, what happens? The current which is flowing in the circuit C2 or coil C2 is I2, and because of the change in the current I1, there is an EMF produced in this particular coil, and this EMF will allow a current to flow, which is the induced current. That current will also flow in opposite to the current I2. That means there are a lot of current things are there. One is an induced current, there are two original currents I1 and I2, but in this case, do not get confused. Just consider that I am changing I1, and because of this change of I1, there will be a EMF generated in this particular circuit. This EMF will lead a current to flow in the opposite direction, and in this case, since I2 is the original current which is flowing in the circuit C2, so is the I2 must flow in opposite direction to the induced current due to the EMF. As a result of this, I2 must do some work in order to flow in this circuit. All right, because it is flowing against some opposition or against some opposing force. So that is what is the reason. I'm going to take this into consideration, and from this particular argumentation I'm going to derive this. So let us first consider the EMF induced in the coil C2 due to the current I1 flowing in circuit C1. So we know that the flux through the coil C2 due to the change in current. So let me write this. The flux uh, through the coil C2 due to the current uh, due to the current I1 is given by flux phi to be directly proportional to I1. Now, in case of mutual induction, we know that the constant of proportionality if I have to remove this proportional sign and put an equal sign, this becomes M I1, where M is the coefficient of mutual induction. Now, if you take a time derivative on both these sides, then you get d phi dt, that's going to be M di1 dt. So this is the change in current I1 with respect to time, and because of that there is a change in magnetic flux phi with respect to time linked with the coil C2. Got it? So the change of current is happening in coil C1, and the effect, that means the link, the magnetic flux linked with the coil C2 is getting changed. That means we are doing something in C1 and the effect is being observed in C2. All right, that's what is basically the concept of mutual induction. That is something already we know. Now, if we consider the Faraday's law in this case, Faraday's law gives me what? Faraday's law gives me that if there is a change of magnetic flux linked with the coil, then there is an EMF produced, and it is given by minus of d phi dt. That means the EMF induced in such a direction so as to oppose the change of magnetic flux. But if we do not consider the negative sign, we just is a symbol of opposition, just consider the magnitude of it. In that case, I can write to be EMF E is equal to d phi dt. So I'm going to write like this, and let us put this as equation number 1. By the way, since this EMF is getting induced in circuit 2, so I'll just put a suffix 2. All right, so this is the EMF induced in the coil C2 because of the change in current in C1. Now, the current I2 flowing in the coil C2 must flow against the current induced due to the EMF E2. So the current I2 must flow against the induced EMF E2. So this EMF E2 will allow an induced current to flow in the coil C2, and C2 already has got original current, that is I2, which is flowing through C2. So this current I2 must flow against the current which is being supplied by the induced EMF epsilon 2. So that is the reason why. So I'm just changing the slide. So therefore the current I2 must do some external work, otherwise it cannot flow, because he is receiving some kind of an opposition. Since the current I2 is receiving opposition and again flowing, so some part of the energy is being lost. So work must be done. Actually, who is actually doing this work? The source who is providing this current I2, that particular source has to supply the current I2 or maintain the current I2 against the opposing current due to the induced EMF epsilon 2. So that is the reason why that particular source is actually doing the external work, and this work will store as the energy in the system. So what will be the rate of this work done? The rate of work done is given by dw2 by dt is equal to epsilon 2 multiplied by the current I2. This already we have discussed in one of our videos, that why there is a product of the EMF and the current. Product of EMF and current is basically given by, work done is given by Q into the potential difference V. So if you just take W upon T, it becomes Q by T into V. So Q by T is nothing but the current, because charge per unit time, that multiplied by the potential difference. So whenever I take the product of charge and the potential difference or the EMF, that is going to give me something dimensionally the work done per unit time. So that is why rate of doing work is given by the product of the EMF induced in this second coil multiplied by the current which is being flown. All right, so if you just put the expression of epsilon 2, which is nothing but M di1 by dt multiplied by I2. So for betterment, I am going to write I2 di1 by dt, which is equal to dw2 upon dt. So dw2 means the work done. Basically w2 represents the work done by the current I2, or the source of the current I2, to move in a direction opposite to the induced current in the circuit C2. So in this case you can write dw2, that's equal to m I2 di1. Simply if you just integrate it, so that you get w2, that's going to give you mi2, that is equal to constant. M is anyway constant, and I2, since you are integrating against di1, that means change of current I1 in the circuit C1. So for that change of current I1 in circuit C1, the current I2 can be considered as constant in the circuit C2. So that is why Mi2 comes out of the integration sign and it becomes I1, or you can write it to be W2, that's equal to M I1 into I2. So this is the amount of work done, or rather the energy being converted or stored in the system when I2, the current in coil 2, flows against the EMF, or against the induced EMF, because of the change in current I1 in coil C1. So that amount of energy, whenever you have got mutual interaction between two coils, M I1 into I2 kind of, or I mean M I1 into I2 energy, amount of energy is being stored in the system. So this is, I have shown this considering the change of current I1 and seeing the effect in the coil C2. You can do the opposite also. If you do the opposite, in that case what you will receive the, I mean opposite in the sense what? You had got two coils, this one carrying current I2, this one carrying current I1. This is C1, this is C2. So opposite, in what sense it can do? That you are changing now the current I2, suppose, and watching the effect in circuit C1. In that case, what is going to happen? In that case, the rate of work done will be given by dw1 upon dt, that will be given by mi2, and sorry, I am just this will not be, it will be like epsilon 1 multiplied by I1. So dw1 upon dt, that will be given by m di2, because this time you are changing the current in the second circuit, multiplied by this current I1. So you will remain with dw1, that will be m I1 into di2. So if you integrate it, dw1 integration of m I1 and di2, you will remain with w1, that equal to m I1 into I2. So you are getting, see, the same expression m I1 into I2 as you are getting in the previous expression. So both W1 is m I1 I2, and W2, which is the work done by the current I2 to flow against the induced EMF in the circuit C2, that is also m I1 into I2. So basically this amount of, actually this is a vice versa kind of an effect. So we can pretty well say that this is the amount of energy which is being stored in a system due to the mutual induction. All right. So whenever we were considering the total energy aspect of two different coils, which are taking, which are carrying current I1 and I2 respectively, you remember I wrote an expression like W total is equal to half of L1 I1 square plus half of L2 I2 square plus M I1 into I2. Basically we took it whenever we were finding out an expression citing the relation between the mutual and the self inductance. So that's the reason why we have written this particular term Mi1 into I2. I mean, this is the energy term which appears because of the mutual interaction between these two coils. So I hope this derivation is clear to you. I mean, this is very simple actually. Quite simplifying way. In a simplifying way, you can derive this relationship, and it's a very important derivation also. Please watch it once again if you wish, and uh, if you have any question, in that case you can post. All right, so that's all I had for today in this lecture. Thank you so much.